The Abarth 124 Spider Centevinto Quattro. That is today in Autogefühl. Now, a full review here, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars with Thomas. Exterior, interior and driving, the performance, and also explain the differences to the normal Fiat 124 Spider from this Abarth version. Let's go now in Autogefühl in full HD, full screen and full length. We'll start. So now the front of the Abarth 124 Spider. If you compare it to the Fiat variant, we have a stronger lower bumper here, and the car itself sits lower, also has a different sports suspension. We'll tell you more about that when we drive the car. And also here in this lounge edition we have this two-color scheme, black in the middle part and red on the outer part, so it's even a bigger differentiation. But I think if you ask the Abarth people, you can also get it just in a one color scheme. And the special Scorpion logo, that one wants to tell us this is really a different car, they say. While in the Fiat we have silver contrast, here everything is kept in dark. You see the dark contrast here on the A-pillar and as well as on the mirror caps, and also the alloys. 17-inch you can also get for the Fiat, but here different style, also with the glossy finish and again a Scorpion logo on the inside. Another one right here with the Abarth. And we'll give you an exclusive interview with the Abarth CEO, the head of Abarth, later on in this review as well. And then we can also check out what about the production method, how much is really Italian, how much is Japanese. Really interesting interview, I can tell you. Side profile kept very simple, and again with this riding shoulder line. And I really like the design that it's really kept simple with a very few design lines. That makes the car also beautiful. And I mean, it's a small car, but due to the long hood, you see there very sporty proportions, definitely. And after 4 meters 06 or 13.3, the car ends here. And the big difference here with the Abarth version are the exhaust pipes. 4 pipes, and they are mounted in Italy at the Abarth workshop. This is one of the crucial parts here. And well, I think we should listen again to the sound. Beneath the hood, Mazda is using a naturally aspirated engine, Fiat and Abarth, the turbo, multi-air turbo, 1.4 liters of displacement. In the Fiat version, 140 horsepower and 7.5 seconds acceleration. Here 170 horsepower, 30 horsepower more, and 6.8 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 0 to 60 miles an hour. That's the strongest one you can get in this setup here, and what is special, this car is very light, just about 1,100 kilograms in weight. And other, more expensive cars, they have more horsepower, but they have also way more weight. And so this one here will give a distinct driving experience. We'll tell you more about that very soon. And the trunk, again, same as in the Fiat version. You see, there is possible to put some stuff in here. Surprisingly, it looks small at first, but you can handle it. And also where the Fiat logo is usually at, the special Abarth logo on top of the trunk. And you see this two-color scheme is even more aggressive when you have a white exterior. Then it's even a bigger contrast. Which one do you prefer? The car key, and you get a special Italia key support with that one and the Abarth logo. Let's get inside, and you get special sport seats with the Abarth version. So far it's just the genuine leather variant available. Well, I think as far as no genuine leather on the outside, inside and faux on the outside, I think there's no alternative yet, but I've talked to the Abarth head and he said maybe there will be also other seats in the future available, maybe even more performance seats. Also the steering wheel is, for example, a little bit different than the one in the Fiat, has red contour stitches, and in general, it's, you know, has the Abarth logo and a little bit of a sportier style, also sets the 12 o'clock position. And now what I really like, also we got some Alcantara elements here already, for example, here on the top of the dashboard. We got kind of a mix. This is great with the Alcantara, then again here is hard plastic, so here we got light and shadow in the interior. And by the way, here on the Abarth, that's a very important stuff. To deactivate the electronic stability control, I will show you the funny difference later. And I'll take a seat. It's not the best car for tall people. Me as 1.86 m or 6'1". It's still working, yes, especially with open top, but you know, you feel more comfortable if you're a little bit smaller. Steering wheel cannot be pulled towards you, just up and down, at least. And then very sporty driving position. You can see how they, you know, the forms of the headlights are in front of your side. That's very nice. And you more feel like in a go-kart, like you're sitting on the car, not in the car. And well, not a big difference from a Fiat version. Maybe you feel that it's a little bit lower. Interesting here, of course, again, that I don't even have to explain what that means. No electronics needed. That's just it. I think it's the best solution on the convertible market. So easy, really. And also interesting, and you can even do it while driving. Headspace. That's the headspace here in the car. Of course, same for the Abarth and the Fiat version. Getting practice here, don't I? Cockpit overview, everything is kept simple. We know a lot of elements from the Mazda MX-5 and also from the Fiat 124 Spider. Here the difference is that we got Alcantara on the horizontal part. I love it. It really feels so soft and great and adds to the sporty feeling. Also more red elements. At the steering wheel I showed you also the instruments we can soon take a detailed look to with red background. And more red contrast stitches here. And this is very special. We picked this one, the auto gearbox, because you can get manual on the Abarth as well. But to show you also the difference from the Fiat, where it's not available, here you can also get the automatic gearbox. And I'm really looking forward to that. You also have shifting pedals available. Looking forward to the sporty experience. Also the cover of the armrest with a nice scorpion stamp. And Alcantara cover again, I love that. Small space below. And also a special plate here, Officina Abarth. Carlo Abarth, with, for example, you can put water in here as well and also can close it if it's really necessary. And here you can change the vents as well. More storage space below there and USB slots. Seat heating optionally, won't need it today at 24 degrees. The turning knob is the same than in the Fiat. Turn and press to choose something, and going home, nav, volume here. You can also do it at the steering wheel as well. Infotainment system you can control with touch when you're standing still, for example, but you can always go for the middle control knob. As soon as you're driving, the touch function does not work anymore. I criticize that because maybe the co-driver wants to control the touchscreen while driving. The GPS, well, I'm not so satisfied with it. Could be more intuitive and also more responsive. Sometimes it takes a little bit too long, and also the visualization is not the most modern one. As for music, you just listen to the radio, or you can also connect your phone via Bluetooth right here. Let's see, if we go here to the communication, connect the Bluetooth, and then just hold your phone, connect the Bluetooth, and that's it. Pretty simple solution. And the special Abarth instruments, well, 16 liter and 100 kilometers, that's not a realistic value, that's racing value. In the Fiat we have used about 9 to 10 liters. Here it will more like 10 to 11, I think. So, and red background for the big RPM meter, we'll have that in action now. And I want to show you again, with the roof closed or opened, how the car looks like when it's closed. Also maybe with the windows closed, right here. There it is. And what do you think? I think still a beautiful line is being kept. And overall, this one here, the Fiat and the Abarth, they have the more elegant design than the Mazda. The Mazda has more a contemporary dynamic design. This one here, rather timeless. Or what's your opinion? And now look at the rear tires, because I want to show you when I have the electronic stability control set in. The power is controlled more. Yes, I need to have the seatbelt on. And so with the automatic gearbox, I cannot do it with a clutch. Therefore I have to press the brakes a little bit and then hammer the throttle. Not that much, just about 2000 RPMs. Show you now with ESC in. See, a little bit of wheel spin here on the slippery ground. And now with ESC off. Seeing the difference? There's more wheel spin, and that we can also use for fun driving, of course. Driving part. Abarth 124 Spider, 1.4 liter turbo petrol engine, 170 horsepower. And again, just to remember, 6.8 seconds acceleration, 0 to 100 kilometers. And already in normal driving mode, that was a motorcycle, already in the normal driving mode, we have a really like roaring sound. I can also go into a sport mode. Then we can even improve the driving characteristics. The car gets a little bit stiffer then. You can change it next to the automatic gearbox. For example, here now already the car is really stiff, also a little bit stiffer than the normal Fiat version. I have a less tilting of the car. And if I go into the sports mode, the suspension gets even a little bit stiffer. And that's the sport mode. Let's see again the difference. Normal mode. Yeah, already. So already in normal mode you get a great sound. Listen to that. So if you stand outside, you maybe think, is that really loud, that exhaust? So normal driving mode to sports mode. Also the throttle input is a little bit more extreme than end, especially here with the automatic gearbox. There's even a bigger difference. Because then the car is shifting back earlier and shifting up later. So that is the main difference, especially if they have the auto gearbox. Wow. It's really such a go-kart, this car. And suspension-wise, yeah, it's stiffer than Fiat, for example, and maybe also a little bit stiffer than the Mazda. But it's not uncomfortable. It's not like you say, oh, you're in such a sports car that is so extremely rough that it's only suitable for the racetrack. So here, for everyday driving, it's still okay. Listen to the sound. And I can also use the pedals here. Shift down or up. Nice. So that sport exhaust really has an effect. And you also feel that the car is so super light. That makes a big difference. So I would not have, just have to have more power, because then I would also have more weight. And as the weight is kept so low, I can really handle the car just like I want to. Wow, that is pure racing feeling. And without being in the very premium segment, of course. Shifting down. I like the auto gearbox as well. I mean, for a pure roadster feeling, you can also say, okay, you just go for the manual gearbox. That is still available here. The auto gearbox may be a good solution if you want to use the car in everyday driving as well. And, have a little bit more comfort in everyday driving with the auto gearbox and still be able to have some racing experience. So that's a good compromise, of course. Always extra in price. It's just more relaxed, especially when going uphill now. Then the auto gearbox is, it's just easier to drive, or maybe going slower than accelerating again. Then you don't have to use the clutch. Well, very narrow roads here now, but with a small car, it's no problem. It still feels very good, as the car is also, not that wide. So don't get nervous when driving the small cars. Direct steering as well, I really like that. So it's really totally a fun machine. Already the standard version of the Fiat 124 Spider is a lot of fun, definitely. This one here, especially if you want that sound. And of course, if you want a little bit stiffer riding, a little bit more direct contact to the road, then this one is really here for you. However, you also have to pay almost double the price, 24,000 euros, taking German price for a reference for the Fiat, 40k for this one here. Is it worth double the price? No. I can frankly say no, because the other one is already that much fun. Here is really if you want the sound experience. But you can, for example, also say maybe that the sound is maybe too annoying on the long-term run. That could also be. It's just a point of view if you really want that. Difference between normal mode and sport mode is not that huge. Now I'm driving into the normal mode again. Let's see how that performs. Yeah, throttle input is a little bit later then. A little bit more calm to drive. Especially when going downhill now, for example. Then now you can hardly hear the engine, so it doesn't have a big sound in the neutral, just when you hammer the throttle, because there are those valves opening then. Now let's go a little bit uphill again with the normal one, and let's go just from standstill, hammer the throttle in normal mode, and then in sport mode to comparison. Let's see, there's no one coming, no, there's no one coming, and that's normal mode. And that was 70, for example, now. And now, if I go to the sport mode, you might hear the difference, and let's go now. And 70. So the main difference you heard also when we were shifting, it's harder shifting transition. That is interesting as well. As for the ESC, I can also deactivate the electronic stability control. Then we have more play with the rear wheels. As usually you don't have wheel spin when you're just on dry road, and not, if you're ESC activated, you can control the car better. When you have the ESC off, you can play around with the car a little bit more, of course. Let's now hunt those corners. Yeah, feels a little bit more loose in the rear end. On dry road you can do that, but usually when you're on public roads, I can just recommend you leave the ESC in and reserve that for the racetrack, as you also need some practice to do that, of course. Really nice. You see, I think you can already see on camera how great the handling is with that light car. So much fun. And as I said, you can give me more horsepower, but it may not be more fun. Wow. You might think there's a Ferrari coming or so, and if you would tell someone, oh, it's a 1.4 liter turbo engine, it was like, what? No way. So really interesting, that aspect, definitely. We can also do some, when we got some straight partiers, sport mode, and then, as we don't have a clutch, I stay with the right foot on the brake and let the car, preload a little bit, and then we have even better acceleration. Wait up. Was that smoke coming from us? Wasn't me. Wasn't me. It's not on camera, I hope. Is it on camera? Wasn't me. Yeah, that's really amazing what things you can do with that car here. Sport mode and ESC off. You can, even with the automatic gearbox, do some burnout stuff. So a lot of crazy things you can do with this fun car. And that's also a reason, for example, why there's in Germany big MX-5 Mazda drivers scene who use this car for hobby races. Maybe that will also now account for the Abarth here, that this one is used also for hobby races. I'm pretty sure that will work. I mean, look at that. I would love to transport a G-Force directly into your living room screen. It's such a great road here, near Lago di Garda, one of my favorite spots. I can just do that forever. I hope you as well. I think I never had fun with a 1.4 liter turbo to that extent. Did you? Put me that one in the comments on. Wow, and it plop in the sport mode from the exhaust. Just enjoy that here with me. And now more information with Paulo Gallardo, the head of Abarth, and he is obviously the man to give us detailed information on this car and especially about the philosophy. Because, some people said, you get a Japanese car, it's not a true Abarth. So what are you saying to these?
Those people who say that are wrong. It's a complete Abarth project. Basically, we built the car to our own specifications, and therefore you have a true Abarth in the sense of performance feel, handling, power, acceleration, and everything that makes a car truly fun. So if you want to drive something particularly exhilarating, adrenalinic, and unique, I would say definitely consider this car. And then don't trust my words, but actually try it, and then we'll have the discussion afterwards.
You see, it's very good in advertising the car. So how does it really work, the production process, and how does it work? Where and when does a car come to your workshop, and how many stuff can you do on your own, and what parts, what are the special parts you do work on in your workshop?
Well, basically the parts are all Abarth, in a sense. The powertrain, of course, the style, but the powertrain is an Abarth, the suspension is Abarth, the handling is Abarth. So again, the original platform, of course, is the most perfect platform of a roadster today in the market. So of course we are starting from a excellent, outstanding base. But then again, when you build a project like this, you build from a product briefing with very set specifications, and in our case the specifications are almost all based on performance. So all the parts of the car that relate to performance are faithful to the standards and the briefing that we did. We worked together with the engineers that provided us the base of the car, and at the end of the day we are having a product that is completely consistent with our values, our fun to drive values. Then all this year we'll produce 2,500 of these cars. They're going to be all numbered, and availability, you can order them now, but the availability starts from between September and October, and it's only 2,500 units, all numbered, and they're all going to pass through Officine Abarth, which are in Turin, and there we're going to Abarthize them in order to make them exactly what you see.
So especially the exhaust,
all the things. We touch basically all components of the cars, and we make sure that we transform what's already, let's say, like 70% of a car into the Abarth that you see.
So that's the basic difference then. The Fiat engines are shipped over to Japan, cars built there for the Fiat version. Then it's kind of done when it arrives in Italy. The Abarth version is then as I said, Abarthized, so that's the basic difference here from the Abarth to the Fiat version then.
But even on the Fiat, you are paying too much attention to the base project. In reality, both Fiat and Abarth are completely different units than the base platform, because we touched all the key items of the car itself. So I would say that Fiat is an Italian car altogether, and Abarth is a true Abarth. It is actually common in the market to get, especially for a roadster, something particular and then make it become the thing that you want, and this is exactly what we did. So there is very little Japanese, as you say, in this car as it is today. And again, don't trust my words, but even if you try either a Fiat or an Abarth itself, totally different philosophy, totally different products. I mean, you can see it obviously from the style, but the heart of a car, which is a powertrain, is completely Italian, and all the rest, all the again, handling, suspensions, performance field, and so on, is completely, in our case, it's an Abarth, but even in the Fiat case, it's a Fiat.
When we take a look at other cars on the market, also, maybe the German brands, what is the most unique thing? Because there are other cars with a lot of power, there are other cars with good handling. What is the most unique thing about the Abarth outstanding in the market?
This is a completely unique experience. It's a very emotional experience because this car has a weight to power ratio which it's again unique. So you have the right engine, the right power, and the weight perfectly balanced at 50% and 50% with the driver's on. That makes the handling and the performance of these cars a unique experience, even when you compare it with much more expensive roadsters. So
because you never get the same weight, because all of the other, for example, the German premium manufacturers, they're all way heavier, the cars.
Yes, I mean, they are all excellent competition, but we do believe that we've done something really special and outstanding here. So even if you should get a better or slightly better weight to power ratio by putting a huge engine on the car, you won't get the same performance feel and handling of this one here. Now on the back you hear yes. the growl of the car, and again, this is a very unique activity.
So what about, did you say it was limited in numbers, or what's the future for this car?
No, okay, this year is going to be limited in numbers because we are going to build these 2500s. Next year we'll see. I mean, let's see how the market goes, and but we are very confident. We plan to do very well in the market. I mean, if with programs like yours, we are able to convey that kind of passion and emotion that we put in the car, you're going to have an outstanding experience, I promise you. Don't trust me, trust, go to the dealer and test it.
So, thank you very much for this emozioni.
You're very welcome.
And let's continue here with our review.
Thank you very much.
And now our conclusion to the single review of the Abarth 124 Spider. You can also check out the Fiat version, the basis model, in our other extensive review where we have reviewed that one and the Fiat together. Will also be linked in the video description. But now to this car here. Well, there's a lot of extra price for the Abarth version, definitely, with about 40,000 euros in Germany, taking this price as a reference. It's because there's so much handwork involved here with putting the exhaust in, especially sport exhaust in Italy, and modifying here and there. And it's really the question, does it differentiate so much from the basis model? Well, yeah, it's sportier, has more power, but the performance difference is not that huge. The biggest difference is really the sound. Here you get really the aggressive exhaust sound, and therefore also the riding is more aggressive. Also a little bit stiffer from the suspension. This one can also be suitable for hobby racing, for example. So for an elegant ride, I would rather go for the basis Fiat variant, but here, for an extensive sporty ride, that one is then the right way to go in general. From the exterior, a very classic outline. I like it. Also, if you compare it to the Mazda MX-5, this is more a contemporary design. This one here, really rather timeless in the design. I like that just few design lights were being used. Really nice. Also, the interior design where there's use of Alcantara, I like that. More Alcantara would be even better, especially on the seats. Come on, give me some Alcantara seats here on that one, especially because now everything is sunny weather, everything is sweating from the real leather here, so Alcantara will be the better option definitely, and also gives you more grip while the sporty riding. Other than that, everything is kept simple. Here we can also get the auto gearbox in the Abarth. With the manual one you can play around a little bit more, use the clutch, but you've seen I could also play around with the rear wheels here as well when I hit the brakes, for example. In corners, well, with the clutch you always have more, more sporty play. But for everyday driving, going uphill and stuff, standing still, going uphill again, there the auto gearbox helps you, of course, to make your ride more comfortable and is still offering you a sporty experience. Very nicely, by the way, also with the rear antenna. I just feel like playing with it. So I hope you have as much fun as I did, especially on our great sporty ride on the street that was called after Enzo Ferrari, by the way. Fun fact, here near Lake Garda. Again, mille grazie, and I hope to see you at the next Autogefühl episode with Thomas. Thank you very much for watching and supporting our Autogefühl community.